Second month in a row that 19 of 20 cities saw declines. What's going on here?
What's going on, obviously, is that housing prices continue to decline. While there has been some improvement in the foreclosure picture overall, there are still a lot of foreclosures out there. We're hearing some stories that the process of foreclosures sort of going through the pipeline has accelerated, and that's definitely had an impact. And I think as much as anything else, as one looks at housing, and there are some hints of better times in terms of supply, in terms of single-family starts, prices will probably be the last thing to move. We have to get the demand up. We have to tighten the supply a little bit before we will see any shift in prices, and we haven't seen that. And on top of that, the ability of most people to get mortgages or people to refinance mortgages is still extremely limited, and that's clearly a major factor, even though interest rates are incredibly low.
David, are we at a point where we have to start looking at this shadow inventory, vacant housing, as simply unsaleable, meaning that it's now in bad neighborhoods without any services? And the reason I say that is because D.R. Horton reported a very good number last week that's indicated that sales of new homes are good, but those sales tend to be in homes with infrastructure in safe neighborhoods. Is this just not saleable real estate bringing things down?
In a lot of places, it is clearly not saleable real estate, and especially in the boom-bust areas in the Southwest and Florida, where real estate was a major industry. So you pulled out a chunk of the economic base, got rid of the major industry. You have not one house on the block that's unoccupied. You probably got one house on the block that's still occupied. And clearly, you're going to lose the infrastructure, and you need somebody who wants to be a pioneer, not a homeowner, to move into that kind of an area. So there is that problem. It's concentrated in the hard-hit cities, which is the Southwest, Florida, and obviously Detroit, although Detroit's one of the few spots that's showing some improvement in the last few months. I think in large part because the desolate neighborhoods are desolate, and now there's some movement in some of the better suburbs in and around Detroit.
So, David, to Jim's point, in order to deal with this unsaleable real estate in these very hard-hit regions of the country, would it do any good if we just simply remove that inventory? I mean, some economists out there are actually saying just destroy the houses, get rid of that unsaleable inventory, and improve the overall market. Do you think in that view that is a solution?
Well, I don't know if you have to tear down the houses. I think we just have to, recognize what's going on. Although periodically in studies of urban renewal, people come up with arguments that, take such and such a neighborhood, level it, and fence it off for the next 15 years until we need the land, and then come back in. But that's in effect what's going to happen to some of these areas. It's unfortunate, and the infrastructure sort of dies off or rots away. But that's the only way to do it. Once we get more demand back, we'll have some improvement. There have been comments that until recently, household formation was very low, and that's a big factor in building housing demand. If we create 1 million households a year, which is a little less than what the number should be, you probably need about 1 million houses. Yeah. Well, we haven't been creating even 1 million households a year, right. So we didn't need the houses.
Well, we'll see what next month brings, but an important number to keep in mind today, David. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Kimberly-Clark called out a rapidly declining birth rate in this country.
Right.
And they talked about diapers.
Diapers, yeah.
Yeah, and one of the things, this could be a big secular theme. People just aren't, we're beginning to grow our population similar to Europe. We are no longer a great children-bearing population like we have been. Proctor seemed to indicate that.
Yeah, but compounded really by the idea that those children who were in their 20s sometimes also living at home,
exactly.
and not creating their own households after college.
Something worth watching, because there's a lot of companies that base their business on U.S. Having more children than other developed countries. It's not happening.
Right. All right. Well, we mentioned right.
Marihuana que fumar.